country only produces potatoes and strawberries. There is not a mineral in the UK. How can this? Listen, you just hit me in my African accent.
Let's go.
This country is a third world country. Don't let the skyscrapers fool nobody. Because if we took away all the banks, let's take away all the banks and everything they've stolen and everything that's been robbed, they will have bridges, the dark charge, they will have congestion charge, and they will have potatoes. That's all we produce. What do we produce here?
And marijuana.
But it's even synthetic.
You know we're the biggest exporter of marijuana
and it's synthetic.
in
Whereas
the world.
you take Congo, and this is where.
But we criminalise young people for selling a little 20. But we're the biggest exporter of it.
We cannot. And that's why. And I guess that's why I can't really be. You won't upset me, because you have potato. If today something happened to this world, you people have potatoes to survive on. Do you know, like Gambia has one of the purest waters you're gonna find in the world for agriculture. You can't talk to me. You have potatoes, and it sounds really crazy. Congo has the one thing. Without Congo right now, the whole world is finished. And that's what I want Africans to stand within. Like, stand within that knowledge, even though it's a mess. It's a big mess. But stand within that. That's where Nigeria, they know they have oil. That's why they can have the level of arrogance they do. Even though it's, politically it's a mess. But they stand within, they know the worth of their country. You have to know. The worth of here is buildings and potatoes. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think we are ranked, for me, and even just quality of life and people make a society. The British culture, I'll grow up in Birmingham, so it's a bit different. I'll go to the bus stop and say morning, people look at me like I'm mad. That for me takes a lot away from your GDP, whatever we were going to call it. Coming here is depressing.
Yeah. So you would say we're third world? Fourth world?
Yeah, that one. Fourth world. Fourth world. There's a lot of countries that are coming before you. There's a lot of countries that are going to come before the UK in terms of, I think what the UK has done is marketed itself very well in their propaganda for years, thousands and thousands of years, and it was done exceptionally well.
So what would you say to a young diasporan who's been programmed by British culture? What would you encourage them to think about when it comes to, because obviously like Africa has its problems too, so how would you advise them to approach?
I think read. I think you need to read a lot, and I think you need to speak to people that look like you and come from where you're from, and gauge a level of understanding. Because whitewashing is a real thing, and I think
most of our people ain't our people,
but that's not their fault.
True.
It's not their fault. Our education system is teaching us about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and that we were slaves. That's our three narratives. Forget Mansa Musa. Like our literal three narratives.
How can you forget that? But
yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. We're just showing those three. That's our three, and this goes back to if nobody's at home after school to go through the rest of history, how do you learn?
Can I ask if you, like, what enriched you? What kind of things did you learn at home? So like, we've been speaking about like African superheroes that we've come across, like we didn't learn this stuff in school, and it's stolen. Actually, a lot of it's stolen. So what kind of things learned you?
It's funny because I didn't really learn any of that kind of stuff. Like there was no African superheroes. It was just you're Gambian, and this is how amazing Gambia is. I promise you, that was it. So I remember like my dad was very big on. We always had to keep our passport. We have to keep speaking the language. I remember he came home one summer. He came here one summer, sorry. And my sister was starting to speak English. And he was like, if I come back next year, I'm taking you with me. If you're speaking like this. And she had to pick up the wall off like quick. Because she had literally less than 6 months to catch on. It was, I think what's really big for Gambia, because Gambia is quite small, is the connection of family. So you will know who your granddad is, your granddad's granddad. You will know your lineage, and you will understand it. Does that make sense? My dad was very political, So a lot of the conversations was around African great politicians, African justice, how great agriculture and the thrivingness of Africa. Like his biggest complaint is when he was traveling through Africa, it was easy. Now he has to go to Morocco and Turkey and this place and that place. And why don't we have a one Africa, like, so the Gaddafi and Mugabe, the one Africa, one nation, like the whole, do you know, so that was the Africa that I learned about, which to me was amazing. And I'm a bit of a rebel, so I feel like I enjoyed knowing that, like, there is an element of standing up for ourselves. That's not the thing that we're being shown.
100%.
Yeah, yeah.